The Namib, a land of extremes. The oldest desert on Earth. It is one of the most inhospitable environments on the planet. Relentless trade winds blow sand high into the atmosphere and drive the massive sand dunes inland. The region's first inhabitants called it the land that God made in anger. Portuguese sailors nicknamed it the Gates of Hell. The sun-bleached skeletons of dead animals and the rusting remains of countless shipwrecks are a testament to its harshness. Survival here is a talent. Only the strongest and the best adapted are capable of it. But while this inhospitable environment destroys all that is weak and vulnerable, it can also reveal perfect purity, if you know how to find it. Over 10,000 people have reached the summit of Mount Everest. Thousands have cycled around the world, but no one has ever cycled the length of Namibia's skeleton coast.
Well, this just has to be one of the most isolated and desolate places on Earth.
Explorer Kate Leeming is on a mission to be the first to complete the journey in an unbroken line.
And I can't wait to explore this remote corner of our planet.
Kate is no stranger to extreme expeditions. She has cycled across Siberia, the breadth of the African continent, and through the Arctic regions. Kate's route traces Namibia's entire Atlantic coastline. Starting from the Kunene River in the north, she will cycle through the Forbidden Lands, along windswept beaches, and over the high dunes of the Namib Sand Sea to reach her destination in the south, the Orange River.
This whole thing is a test of the mind. Quite incredible. There's bones everywhere. No wonder it's called the Skeleton Coast.
From remote and punishing terrain.
Skeleton Coast will take me too.
I'm suddenly feeling a bit nervous.
A harsh and hampering climate.
Everything's just corroded away. Just turns iron to dust. Skeleton Coast certainly takes no prisoners.
From facing some of the continent's deadliest wildlife.
Lion footprint.
To experiencing the raw majesty of the desert.
You're not that fit, you won't survive.
Life here is really not easy.
This ambitious 1,000-mile journey down the spine of the Skeleton Coast will push Kate's mind and body beyond anything she has ever experienced before.
My body, my legs especially, more and more tired. It's all about energy management. I first started cycling as my way of seeing Europe. It's really where I found my passion. You're very connected with the people in the land, and I find that it gives a great sense of place and a perspective of how the world fits together. So I've cycled on every single continent on Earth, apart from Antarctica. So I've done 15,000 kilometers through Europe. It was just when the Soviet Union was collapsing, and Russia, the largest country in the world, was opening up. And I thought, what an amazing idea it would be to cycle across it. In the east, there was 1,500 kilometers of swamp, so I had to navigate by following the railway line. It took me 5 months to cycle the breadth of Russia and become the first woman to cycle across Siberia. I've done a 25,000 kilometer journey through Australia, 7,000 k's actually off-road on remote tracks. I've done 22,000 kilometers through 20 countries across Africa. 4 polar expeditions in the Arctic, in Svalbard, which is in Norway, northeast Greenland, done Arctic Canada and Iceland. I've cycled down the Baja Divide in Mexico, the Finke River in Australia. I've done Ladakh, which is the Indian Himalaya. I think that's about it, actually. The Skeleton Coast expedition is going to be the first expedition down Namibia's entire coastline, from the mouth of the Kunene River in the north, which is on Angola's border, to the mouth of the Orange River in the south, which is on South Africa's border. Basically, it's off-road. It's never been done before. It's just going to be cycling along the beach into the wind. There's going to be sand dunes dropping off to the sea. So it's going to be a real challenge. No one's ever done this. We don't even know exactly how far it is because no one's really driven it in its entirety. But we think the Skeleton Coast is about 1,600 kilometres. I've allowed 36 days. There's a few extra contingency days, but I've really got to do 50 kilometres a day. So the bike I'm going to be using is a Kunene all-wheel drive, custom-made fat bike. When the back wheel slips, the front wheel grabs. Extra traction, really important in the sand. I think it's going to really help me, especially when it gets to the very loose sand dunes. The route's going to be very, very challenging. In the north, it's just wild, like open sand, ocean, no roads at all. That's going to be a real struggle, I think. We know that there are desert lions there, these specially adapted desert lions. Jimmy, who's been helping us, is trying to work out how we're going to get through that bit, because obviously I don't want to be taken by a lion. And then the final part, it's a forbidden diamond mining area, and it's been closed for more than 100 years. It's 300 kilometres, and I'm working really hard to try and get support to get through the Spurgebiet. So mentally, this journey is going to be as tough as it gets. If we pull this off, it's going to be amazing. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the challenge.
Her expedition down the Skeleton Coast will test body and bike to the absolute limit. Riding 32 miles a day on soft sand with a fat bike is a cyclist's marathon, and Kate has to do it for 8 hours, day after day.
I'm getting very excited. We're off tomorrow, but my least favourite job is packing the bike because it's so fiddly. You know, these are huge tyres, and we've got to fit them into this special case. One of my biggest things I'm most nervous about is the bike getting damaged on the journey. We won't get to Namibia if we don't get this tyre in. Done. Easy. There we have. Bike ready to go.
Upon arrival, Kate is united with her team. Desert specialists, Elago and Thomas. The team is heading north on a rough 600-mile drive to the mouth of the Kunene River, passing through Namibia's dry hinterland, home to the desert elephant and several of Namibia's ethnic groups. Namibia is one of the least densely populated countries in the world, and the expedition team is traveling to the country's most far-flung corner. The team must travel in 2 separate vehicles in case one has mechanical issues, and it soon becomes apparent why this is a good plan. This is not the start to the journey Kate had hoped for. In the meantime, some locals verse Kate in traditional Himba culture.
Moro,
We can go.
As the team reaches Puros community, Kate seeks permission to travel across their territory. Permission granted, and the team gets a traditional send-off by the Herero women. Whilst for the traveller Namibia's glory lies in the beauty of its nature, for some, this land has been a rich ground for treasure hunting.
Welcome to the Skeleton Coast. We've been driving through the desert now, past enormous sand dunes, and we found this, the remnants of an amethyst mine. This is the township that they would have lived in.
These igloo shelters are designed to repel the constant gale force winds. They were built to accommodate amethyst prospectors in this harsh environment. For millennia, this design was tested by the region's first hunter-gatherer inhabitants. The team continues north through the remote Kunene region, named after the Kunene River that forms the border with Angola. The Skeleton Coast is a protected area where access to visitors is limited. Serene and largely empty, it's one of the most isolated frontiers of Namibia.
Okay, the cars are gonna go down here, down this sand dune, into camp. Whew, yeah! This is gonna be something serious. They're gonna come down here, down that slope. Okay, here they come.
Driving down these slopes is certainly not for the faint-hearted. Namib means vast place. The 55-million-year-old desert stretches more than 1,200 miles from southern Angola, along Namibia's entire coastline, all the way to South Africa. It's the evening before the start of Kate's journey. Time for the final preparations.
If we just lower it carefully, because that's it. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
The bike is a prototype, custom designed for Kate. The 12-centimeter wide tires give extra traction on soft surfaces.
So we're on 9 psi right now. But tomorrow I'm going to start it on about 7.
The all-wheel drive system is designed for better grip on rugged terrain. Check, check, and check again. Sleep is last on the list. It's the morning of departure, and troubling news throws the expedition into jeopardy.
I was talking to Jimmy.
Yeah?
That area from Torabe to Ugab, it's a mining area. It's owned by a company. You know, it's strictly, we're not allowed to cycle in there.
But they haven't said that we can't yet. They just might say that.
No, they say we can't. Yeah.
That's what we...
Yeah. Unfortunately, they said we can't cycle around there.
It just destroys everything. really.
The news threatens Kate's extraordinary quest to cycle the entire coast in an unbroken line. Despite the setback, she decides to start as planned and deal with obstacles one at a time. She is no stranger to facing problems head-on.
This morning I'm feeling really excited because we've been building up for this for about 6 months, but there's been all sorts of obstacles to get through, especially with getting the right permits to go through certain places. Been lots of tension, but we're here, so there's nothing much more to do other than just cycle. And yeah, I'm very, very excited.
Finally, the moment is here. It's such a relief to start the journey after months of preparation. About 1,000 miles of pedaling on sand lies ahead. Filled with anticipation, Kate is eager to bring a line on the map to life and explore this deserted yet wondrous corner of our planet. Excitement is not the only feeling that Kate is dealing with. There are doubts too. The expedition will be treacherous. There will be no roads at all for much of the way, just the coastline, teeming with wildlife and shifting sands. The forces of the ocean have conspired over countless centuries to wreck ships and beach whales. As Kate heads south on her journey, she is exposed to the elements and the unknown. The daily target is 32 miles, and Kate must hit that target day in, day out, no matter what the conditions.
33 Ks plus whatever, so probably about 36, 37 or what. I want to get to the minimum. Because we have to. We can't not do that.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Because even if you drop back, say if I didn't do any more today, suddenly that's another 15 I have to find from somewhere else, and then that suddenly gets hard to make up. It doesn't seem much,
Right,
but this isn't normal. So.
It's only day 2 of the expedition, and Kate is facing conditions that are every cyclist's worst nightmare.
Yeah, it's worse. Much worse. The wind, well, it's just way more severe today, I'm pretty sure. So, I'm just trying to turn the pedals. That's an hour and 50 minutes for 10 Ks. And I haven't stopped. Wow, so I'd have to go for 10 hours to make 50 Ks at this pace. So we just take it as it comes. This whole thing is a test of the mind. It is physical, of course, but it is about the mind. And I guess for me, out of all the different obstacles you get, the wind is probably the most demoralizing because you can't see it, you can't control it, it's not like you've got a great mountain in front of you so you can say, oh, look, I climbed that. You've just got this howling wind that's relentless. So that's something that if I can get my mind around properly and have a better attitude towards, that's going to probably get me through. So we try and do, maybe if I keep trying to do like an hour, small bits, and then just have a 2-minute break. So that's kind of helpful mentally. So.
Kate is no stranger to facing adversity. Years of expeditions cycling in the toughest conditions have taught her how to deal with difficult situations. The keys to progress are to stay on the saddle and break down big challenges. On sand, every pedal stroke requires her full focus. The terrain may appear monotonous, but up close, Kate constantly notices subtle features, and objects ahead become small goals. A rock, a piece of driftwood, or a divot in the sand. Occasionally, the objects even move.
Well, this just has to be one of the most isolated and desolate places on Earth, I would think. The Skeleton Coast. The sea out there is just boiling away. Imagine being shipwrecked here. There would be no help anywhere. Like, where would you go? There's no water, there's no food, nothing. And that's kind of what happened right here. This is the Dunedin Star, or what's left of it.
When the Dunedin Star struck an uncharted reef just off the coast on November 1942, 63 of its passengers made the safety of the beach, only to find a land with no food or drinkable water.
We knew the Dunedin Star was at this point, but there's just nothing left of it. It was such a corrosive environment that the whole frigate has just dissolved, being sort of rusted back into nature.
The complex sea, air and land rescue that followed was a month-long operation. Ships battled the wild seas, cars sank in the soft sand, a tugboat ran out of fuel and wrecked further down the coast, and a supply plane crashed into the sea.
So this is where the survivors came, and they built this shelter. There's absolutely nothing on the coast, so some planes actually flew overhead, and they dropped some crates and some food for them to keep them going while they effected the rescue. It took about 30 days, and finally everyone was rescued. 2 people lost their lives on the tug, and it was just one of the most incredible rescues in history, I would have thought.
The Dunedin Star's demise is a haunting reminder of the dangers that constantly threaten to expose a weakness, a moment of inattention, or a poor decision. Back on the bike, but it's not long before Kate encounters a serious problem. The expedition could be all over, as Kate's principal piece of equipment may be broken.
When I was picking my way through lots of sticks and things and flotsam and jetsam, I couldn't really control my bike very well. Slipped a bit, dipped all the working parts in the sand, which wasn't great. Just loosen it as far as we can.
Okay. This is clockwise, this is anti-clockwise. So it's probably this way. Okay, have you up in here?
Next time, Kate enters lion country.
There are lions just nearby. I'm suddenly feeling a bit nervous. Lion footprint. Definitely been dragging a seal or something, huh? Yeah. Well, the good thing about that is they've eaten today.
Tonight's the first night where we're sleeping, where they just could be around.
She battles the elements, and the Skeleton Coast takes its toll.
These are very, very long days on the bike.